Hello everyone, welcome to Sunya IAS and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to start human geography, very important aspect, and you can trust me when I say this. This is one subtopic, let's say sub-subject of geography, which has questions every year, and still people don't pay enough attention to this subject because they think that this particular subject is endless. But the thing is, UPSC in this particular part is sticking to the NCRTs, right? So if, let's say, for example, we are talking about the arable land in India, है ना, or irrigation requirements in India, that is of course a part of agriculture, but agriculture is also a part of your human geography only, right? Human geography, economics का एक mixture बन जाता है agriculture. So the point is that if you are thorough with the NCRTs for for this human geography, population is the name of the chapter that we are going to start, you will be pretty good to go. Okay, because UPSC exam ko samjho that everyone from every corner of this country is eligible to give this exam. So this is not an exam which is supposed to be made very exclusive for people who are, studying in very high-end schools or colleges. This exam has to have a level playing field. So there are not a lot of very, very difficult questions from this human geography. Okay, that being said, it is definitely a technical subject. It is definitely a technical and theoretical subject, but you will see a lot of applications of this subject around your environment itself, right? And around you itself. So you'll be able to relate more. And I'll make sure that you are able to relate more with each and every topic. All right. So before we start, let me just tell you a little bit about this course that we are running. The name of the course being Revise Entire Prelims Syllabus through 3000 plus MCQs. Very self-explanatory name itself. And our purpose is that just like we have done Indian polity, economy, modern history, now we're doing geography. We are done with physical geography. We're moving to human geography. Then we'll move to Indian geography. Fine. Then environment, ecology, art and culture, ancient, medieval, science and tech. All of this to make sure that NCRTs and standard books are covered for you all. And for the current affairs, there is always, of course, 700 further questions that we will be doing. So the purpose is that entire syllabus should be done. You should be used to your new pattern of examination, and that anxiety should go on seeing that only one, only two, only three. And you should also be very well aware about which type of questions to leave. When I take my class, I always tell that, okay, this question is meant to be left if it comes in the examination. So that is also a very important part because your paper has negative marks. So it's very important that you know which questions to leave also. So you can contact on this number and visit this website to know more about this course, which we have made very affordable. Right. So with this, the first chapter that we are going to do is population of India and the world. Very important basic we need to understand. And here just see the overlap. Just see the overlap with polity also. When we study state in polity, what are the four ingredients of state? There are four essential elements which make up a state. One is a definite territory. The second is population. The third is government. And the fourth is sovereignty. Right? And you will not believe, if you have not seen the PYQs, you will not believe. Otherwise, you should believe because at this point of time, everyone should have seen the PYQs. So, such a simple question has also been asked in UPSC, just in a little more complicated terms, that what is the meaning of state? And within the meaning of state, we are studying this population only. Okay? We are studying this population. So, there is an overlap from polity as well. And it's very interesting to see how one subject can help you in other subjects as well. Okay, so let's go to the first question. Consider the following statements. Crude birth rate refers to the number of live births in a year per 10,000 of men. Crude death rate is defined as the number of deaths in a year per thousand of mid-year population. And natural growth of population is the population increase by difference between birth and deaths in a particular region. How many of the given statements are correct? So birth rate and death rate, very important concepts, and they are always, regarding these two concepts, just know one thing, that they are always seen as with respect to 1,000 people. Okay, so 1,000 population mein how many births are happening is the crude birth rate. So live births, not stillbirths. Okay, unfortunately there is this concept called stillbirth as well, hai na, wherein the child comes out not alive, right? So that is not counted. So number of live births in a year per 1,000 of men, nahi, of people. ठीक है? And here it is mid-year population पे ये calculate होता है. Mid-year population, not the beginning of the year, not the end of the year. Mid-year population पे per 1,000 people how many live births were there? That is crude birth rate. So first is incorrect. Then crude death rate is absolutely correct over here. Number of deaths in a year per 1,000 of mid-year population. This is absolutely correct. So first is it is compared with 1,000 people, and second is it is mid-year population. ठीक है, mid-year population. And third, natural growth of population is the population increase by difference in birth and death rate. This is absolutely correct. When you are not accounting for migration, है ना, immigration or emigration, any one of them, then that is called natural growth of population. So third one is absolutely correct. ठीक है, birth rate minus death rate, that is natural growth of population. And if it is in negative, that means the population is declining. ठीक है, so जैसे for example, primary example being Japan में people are not giving birth to children. People are deciding not to have children, and of course they are dying. है ना, you cannot even till now technology has not reached that stage where you can avert death, right? So that's why that is the problem. Here only two statements are correct. What is important to take from this question? Crude birth rate, crude death rate, natural growth of population. These three concepts. Next. Consider the following statements. Actual growth of population negates the migration factors, while natural growth includes migration factors of an area. Emigration is the act of moving into a new place, and immigration refers to movement out of a place. So ये basic question hai, there's not much to explain. The natural growth rate, I've already told you, it does not factor in the migration. The actual growth of population, which factors in migration, is actually with the same name, actual growth of population. So this one is incorrect. ठीक है, क्योंकि उल्टा लिखा गया है. Actual growth of population includes the migration factors. Natural growth does not include it. So first is incorrect. Then emigration is the act of moving into a new place. No, ये भी उल्टा लिखा गया है. When you immigrate somewhere, you are actually going to that place, and when you are emigrating from somewhere, you're actually leaving that place. So if an area has high emigration, that means it does not have high standard of living and people are not very willing to live in that area. Not a very good sign. Okay, so that is there. Here D is the correct answer. Neither one nor two. Next, both the concepts become important. Immigration, emigration. And third one, actual rate of population, actual growth rate of population. Third, consider the following statements regarding State of World's Population Report 2023. The UN Population Fund publishes this report every 5 years, conducting an in-depth analysis of global population trends and developments. According to recent report, India will overtake China to become world's most populous country by 2030. And the life expectancy for males globally was projected to be 71 and 76 for females. So if you have been following news, or even if you have not been following news also, you would already know that many congratulations. We are the country with the highest global population now. We breached the population in China in mid 2023, which we were earlier expected to do in 2027. So even the United Nations Population Fund could not underestimated us, right? We have no concept of family planning. We have no concept of thinking whether to have a child, how many children to have. No, we are just having children. So yes, second one is incorrect. India has already taken over China to become the world's most populous country in the year 2023, not in 2030. Now, UN Population Fund does publish this State of World Population Report, but just think about it. This is a report about which you get to hear very often, है ना? State of World Population Report. It is not, if a report is published every 5 years, you would not hear about it a lot. Okay, that is common sense. So it is not 5 years, it is actually annual publication. Every year, the UN Population Fund publishes this particular report and tries to understand from where are the people emigrating, where are the people immigrating, etc., etc. So that is there. Life expectancy for males is 71 and 76 for females is absolutely correct. Females live longer than men. And overall, India's life expectancy, just let me know in the comments. What is India's general life expectancy? India ki life expectancy batao. Also, you need to know that India ki life expectancy at independence kitni thi? At independence, how much was our life expectancy? And today, how much is our life expectancy? You need to know that. And I can just give you a hint that our life expectancy has more than doubled. Okay, our life expectancy has more than doubled since our independence. So we have traveled a huge mile. But just tell me in the comments कि India की life expectancy at independence कितनी थी and आज कितनी है, and then you will see what is the importance of medical science, right? So first and third are correct. Second one is first is also incorrect. First is incorrect because it's an annual publication. Second is incorrect because India is already the most populated country. Third is correct, right? So here one only is the correct answer. Next one. इसी तरीके के सवाल आते हैं and question statements are pretty straightforward, but because of the only one, only two, only three, it creates confusion. Consider the following statements. According to State of the World's Population Report, India's total fertility rate was estimated at 2.3, which is higher than the world average of 2. Around 68% of population in India is in the age group of 15 to 64 years. And population growth in both India and China has been slowing despite accounting for more than 1/3 of estimated global population. So how many of the given statements is or are correct? If you remember, there was this huge discussion when the 2023 State of World Population Report came out, that what is our total fertility rate, TFR. TFR basically means that in a female's entire lifespan of reproductive age, how many children is she having? Okay? So our TFR is now 2. And the replacement level TFR is 2.1. Replacement level TFR means that how many children a woman needs to have to actually replace the exact amount of population that exists right now. Okay, so what we assume that there is a male, there is a female, this is the couple, and if they have 2 children and when they eventually die, then if they have 2 children, they have replaced their own existence on this planet. Now, this is the state that will keep on continuing, right? So what I want to tell you is that, first of all, always follow the official sources. According to the National Family Health Survey 5, and you can see that on government website, you can see that on PIB, our replacement total fertility rate, not replacement rate, our total fertility rate is 2. It is not 2.1. Okay, 2.1 is the replacement rate. 2 is our fertility rate. So our fertility rate is less than replacement rate. ठीक है, always go for official data. Don't go for nonsensical websites which will show that okay, there is our TFR is 2.1 something or no, it is 2. ठीक है, so that is there. So our population is now at that stage where it is stabilizing. ठीक है, so India's total fertility rate is definitely not 2.3. World average the world average is actually 2.3. ठीक है, and always this is the demographic transition theory that the lower income countries, the poor countries, the underdeveloped countries will have higher population, and as and when a country grows economically, the population will stabilize and then fall down. ठीक है, so first one is incorrect. Second is absolutely correct. This is what we call demographic dividend. 68%, which you can just read as mota mota 70%, approximately 70% of our population is in 15 to 64. What is 15 to 64? 15 to 64 is the working age. Working age according to International Labour Organization, it is not till 59. It is till 64 years of age. ठीक है, so हमारी 68% population is in this working age population, which is absolutely great. Now, even in this, approximately 70% population being here, even in this, we should know that the 10 to 19, according to July 2023, the 10 to 19 age group, which we call as the teenage, we have approximately 18%. तो मोटा मोटा 20% के आसपास लोग इस एज ग्रुप में हैं. ठीक है, 18% अप्रोक्सीमेटली लेके चल रही हूं मैं, so that it's easier to remember. So 10 to 19 में you have 18%. Then just see 10 to 24 age group. 10 to 24 age group, again a very productive age group. This age group has 26%. So mota mota 1/4 of this entire population that we have is basically in this particular age group, 10 to 24. So 25% mota mota laga ke chalo. So my point is that there is a lot of productive population that we have. And if we talk about 65 plus का जो age group है हमारा, which we call as senior citizens, 7% people, hardly 7% people are in that age group currently. ठीक है, so we have a very young population, very very young population, and 68% of that population is in 15 to 64 years of age. So first is correct, sorry, second is correct, first is incorrect. And population growth in both India and China has been slowing, absolutely correct. And India and China combined, they definitely account for 1/3 of the estimate global population. What is the estimate global population? 8 billion के आसपास है, right? And what is our population? Somewhere around 1.4 billion. What is China's population? Again, somewhere around 1.4 billion. So approximately 3 billion, just less than 3 billion out of 8 billion is just in India and China, right? But our population growth rate is falling down. ठीक है, so third is correct, second is correct, only 2 is the correct answer. And you must know that what is our fertility rate? It is 2, it is not 2.1. Okay, this is a very very crucial distinction to have. Next, consider the following pairs with reference to the stages of demographic transition. First stage, high birth rate, high number of deaths. Second stage, low birth rate, population increasing. Third stage, low death rate but high fertility rate. And fourth stage, low birth and death rate. So how many are correctly matched? I told you that when we are having a lower population, the lower economy, when we don't have enough money, then we don't have good medical services also. So there is high chance that if you are having, let's say, 5 children, unfortunately 2 or 3 of them might die. So you will have high birth rate as well as high number of deaths in the first stage when an economy is just starting. So this is absolutely correct. Then second stage, the birth rate remains high, but the death rate reduces. So low birth rate galat hai. Low birth rate happens later on. Till the time a country is not developed, the birth rate tends to be higher. ठीक है? So low birth rate here is incorrect. Population keeps increasing. This is correct. But we have high birth rate and low death rate, because eventually slowly the medical facilities are increasing, are improving overall. ठीक है? In the third stage, and it is said, the MOSPI has said, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation has said that we are in third stage, wherein birth rate is falling and the population still continues to grow. The population still continues to grow. So birth rate is increasing at a slower pace, but the population continues to grow. So we are currently in this stage. Our fertility rate is 2.0, right? So our population is still growing, but it is reaching a plateau. And when we come to the fourth stage, when we become developed, let's say by 2047, then there will be low birth rate and low death rate also. People will not like to have a lot of children, and people will live longer also, so death rate will also be lesser. Okay, so second and third are incorrectly matched. Fourth is correctly matched. 1 and 4 are correctly matched, so the answer becomes B. Okay, and these four stages are the stages of demographic transition theory. Okay, demographic transition theory. And right now on this planet, every country is at some stage from these four stages. Okay, so that is there. Next, with reference to age sex pyramids, consider the following pairs. Triangular shaped pyramid, larger population in lower age group due to high birth rate. Bell shaped pyramid, equal birth and death rate. And narrow base and tapered top pyramid, declining birth rates, low fertility rates, high life expectancy. How many pairs are इनकरेक्टली मैच्ड? इनकरेक्ट पूछा गया आपसे. ठीक है, तो अब यहां पे देखो कि टू represent any population, so what is an age sex pyramid? Basically it looks somewhat like this. This is your age group marked on the y axis. ठीक है, so let's say 0 to 70 या 80 तक आपका एज ग्रुप हो गया. And this on the x axis is marking the number of people. ठीक है, number of people. Now here this is also dividing the gender, the sex. So this is male, this is female, and you are able to see by looking at this particular age sex pyramid whether the younger population is more or the older population is more. So for example, let's say this pyramid clearly shows that the younger population is much more in this country, and the death rate is very, very less. Okay, so what is a triangular shaped pyramid? There is large population in lower age group due to high birth rate. This is a triangular shaped pyramid. Okay, so first is absolutely correct. And this happens in developing countries. जैसे बांग्लादेश हो गया, वियतनाम हो गया, these kind of countries, they are having very high birth rate. ठीक है, हमारा birth rate अभी stabilize हो गया है. Then there is bell shaped pyramid. Bell shaped pyramid, basically the amount of birth and death rate tends to be equal. So the pyramid comes somewhat like this. ठीक है, तो बहुत ज्यादा difference नहीं है in the top and the bottommost age group. In that sense, there are equal birth and death rate, but still the bottommost, the younger population will be more. ठीक है, and then there is narrow based and tapered top pyramid, wherein there is declining birth rate. So it will go somewhat like this, very narrow base, and people are not having children also. So even this kind of a thing, even the death rate will be very low. ठीक है, so Japan will have this kind of a pyramid. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे no pair is incorrectly matched. All these three are representing demographic transition of some stage or the other. ठीक है, so none is incorrectly matched, so D will be the answer. एज सेक्स पिरामिड आपको इंटरप्रेट करने के लिए भी आ सकता है. इवन इन सीसैट इट कैन बी आस्क्ड. फाइन. नेक्स्ट, consider the following statements. Since the year 1900, India experienced a population growth rate below zero only once. इस once को आप कर दो only in one decade. Only in one decade. ठीक है. Since the year 1980, there has been a consistent upward trend in the decadal population growth rate. And according to the National Family Health Survey 5, Bihar has the highest total fertility rate among Indian states. How many of the given statements are correct? So, just see, मैंने first statement क्यों सही मतलब correct करवाया? Because there has been a decade and that decade is 1910 to 1920. This decade saw negative population growth rate in India. I'm not talking globally. But just try to imagine what was happening in this decade. What was happening? There was World War I. There was in 1919, there was plague also. ठीक है, Spanish flu. There was Spanish flu as well as plague. Spanish flu and plague. ठीक है, ये था. Along with that, there was overall drought situation. There was overall not very flourishing economy, and many of our soldiers, of course, went to World War One. ठीक है, World War One, yes. So, because of so many things happening in this particular decade, our total population actually reduced by 0.31%, which is a huge number when you talk about the entire population. So yes, we have experienced this since 1900 only in one decade, that is 1910 to 1920, basically 1911 to 1921, because the census happens in the first year of the decade. Okay, so for the second statement says that there has been a consistent upward trend. See, try to understand and try to apply the logic that it cannot happen in such a way that suddenly in 2023 our growth rate has come down. It has to be a long-term effect. So since 1980, there has been a consistent downward trend, not an upward trend, a downward trend in the population growth, in the decadal population growth. What is decadal population rate? That let's say in 1980, there were 100 people in India. So in 1990, how many people will be there? Will it be 110 people, 120 people? On a very micro scale, I'm talking. Okay, so there has been in the decadal population, there has been a consistent decrease since 1980 because there were family control policies as well, है ना? बहुत सारी चीजें चल रही थी, which is why it showed this result. So second is incorrect. And NFHS 5K according, definitely Bihar has the highest total fertility rate in India. And it is also seen that the state which is not doing very well on development indicators, which unfortunately Bihar is there, does not perform well on the population control aspect also. So Bihar ke baad there is Meghalaya, which has high total fertility rate. Then after Meghalaya there is UP. Then there is Jharkhand, and then there is Manipur. So overall, there are three north central states, which is Bihar, UP and Jharkhand, and northeastern states mein Meghalaya and Manipur have high total fertility rate. Okay, so these are the highest: Bihar, Meghalaya, UP, Jharkhand, Manipur. So here third one is correct, first one is correct, second is not correct. So only B, only 2 is the answer. Next one. Consider the following statements regarding migration in India. Migration in India report is released by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. According to the report, the migration in the urban area is more than the migration in rural areas. And third is female in rural areas recorded a higher migration than in urban areas. How many of the given statements is or are correct? So first is absolutely correct. Just a state of population report is by UN Population Fund. Similarly, migration in India report is by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Confusion कहाँ पे हो सकता है? मॉस्पी की जगह आपको ऑप्शन दिया जा सकता है होम मिनिस्ट्री का, right? And you might think that, oh, census is done by home ministry, so maybe this migration in India report is also done by home ministry. No, it is not done by home ministry. It is done by the statistics ministry, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. And the report has rightly said that migration in urban areas is more than rural area. Now, how will you remember this and how will you justify this? How will you solve this kind of a question? In rural areas, what is the biggest attraction? What is the biggest, belongingness, sense of belongingness for the people? The biggest sense of belongingness is land, right? So people will not change their land. People will not change where they live unless and until it comes to very big event. Like for example, for women, they will not change where they live until and unless they get married. For men, they will not change their home until and unless they get a really good job somewhere. ठीक है? So, but migration, urban areas में क्या है? Urban areas में not everyone is owning the land, है ना? People live in rented apartments, and with rented apartments there is no as such belongingness, and there is no stability as such that you want to live at one place throughout your life. And that is why migration in urban areas is more than the rural areas. And of course, the migration will always happen from rural to urban areas. Urban to rural migration is very, very rare. It's an exception. Okay, so second is also correct. And females in rural areas recorded a higher migration than urban areas. This is absolutely correct. Females in rural areas, why do they migrate? They migrate because of marriage. Okay, they migrate because of marriage. Marriage is the foremost reason why females migrate. Now in urban areas, marriage is not that big a reason, because mostly the marriage happens in vicinity only. Vicinity in the sense that, how do I put it? That the autonomy of the woman is more in urban areas. That is a generally consented thought, generally consented fact, right? And even when women in urban areas migrate, many a times they migrate for job opportunities, for higher education. Okay? And that migration is a very minuscule part of overall migration. Okay? But in rural areas, it is very common from one village to other village. There will be rural to rural migration. So highest amount of rural to rural migration is by women, and highest amount of rural to urban migration, without any guesses, you can understand that it is men, because men migrate to the urban areas in search of better job prospects. Why? Because our agriculture is not that developed. Everything is interrelated. Okay. So third is also correct, and all three statements here are correct. Next one. Consider the following statement with respect to migration data by 2011 census. According to 2011 census, more than 50% of intrastate migration was for the purpose of employment, and interstate migration was more than intrastate migration. So what is intrastate? Intrastate means within the state. And I just told you that within the state, or within, just from one village to another, maximum migration is done by the females. It's done by the women. And it is not for employment. It is for the purpose of marriage. Okay? Because marriage ke baad, the woman moves to the house of the husband. है ना? That is the socially constructed norm. ठीक है? तो first incorrect है यहाँ पे. ठीक है? More than 50% of intra-state migration is for the purpose of marriage, not employment. Marriage, family. Interstate migration was more than intrastate migration. How is that possible? Because just try to understand this logic, that interstate migration will happen from less developed states to more developed states, right? And how many developed states are there? States or union territories? There are metropolitan cities. There's Delhi, there's Mumbai, and there's Bangalore, Even Kolkata does not come into a developed state, right? So the point of destination, the destination is so few. And do you think that the amount of intrastate migration will be less than this one-sided migration? That is not possible. है ना? Because everyone is trying to go towards Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai also maybe, है ना? Hyderabad, जहाँ पे opportunities हैं. But in every state, intrastate migration is happening. And on a very large scale, it is happening. Marriages तो हो ही रही हैं हर जगह. लोगों को एक ही स्टेट में जॉब भी मिलती है from one district to another, right? So that is why the second one with your own common sense will be incorrect. So answer here is D, neither one nor two. These are population patterns and they are very often asked in the UPSC examination. Next. अच्छा ये ऊपर वाली लाइन मिट गई है. कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स वाली लाइन ही नहीं है यहाँ पे. ओके, कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स. Odisha has more average population density than the average population density of India. Arunachal Pradesh has the least population density among Indian states and union territories. And Uttar Pradesh has the highest population density among the Indian states. So how many of the given statements is or are correct? देखो डेंसिटी क्या है पर यूनिट पर स्क्वायर किलोमीटर. किलोमीटर स्क्वायर देखते हैं ना, दिस इज 1 किलोमीटर. व्हाट इज द ओके दिस ये थोड़ा ज्यादा बड़ा हो गया. जस्ट टू गिव इट बाय स्केल, this is 1 kilometer, let's say. So what will be 1 kilometer square? This is also 1 kilometer, this is also 1 kilometer, this is also 1 kilometer. ठीक है, basically. So in this 1 kilometer square, how many people are residing? That is population density of India. ठीक है. Now Odisha has a population density of 270 people per kilometer square. And overall इंडिया की पॉपुलेशन डेंसिटी पर स्क्वायर किलोमीटर क्या है? 382 पीपल. सो इन 1 किलोमीटर स्क्वायर ऑफ एरिया 382 पीपल, मोटा मोटा 380 लगा के चलो, है ना? जस्ट अबाउट 400 पीपल, जस्ट लेस देन 400 पीपल पर किलोमीटर स्क्वायर, विच इज वेरी ह्यूज दो. ठीक है, तो ओडिशा की 270 है एंड ओवरऑल इंडिया की इज लेस. नाउ हाउ विल यू आइडेंटिफाई? See, Odisha does not come up as one of the most developed states of the country, right? So always the population density will be more where development is more, because everyone would want to flock where development is, right? So if let's say Delhi would come up, then Delhi ki density is much more, right? So first statement is incorrect and this you can go by logic. Now, this is a factual thing that Arunachal Pradesh does have the least population density among Indian states. And you will not believe what is the population density of Arunachal Pradesh. It is just 17 people per square kilometer. 17 log, not even 20 people per square kilometer. The area is so huge. The area is inhabitable also because the eastern Himalayas are there. है ना? You know about Namcha Barwa. Right, all these peaks that are there. So Arunachal Pradesh mein there are only 17 people per kilometer, per square kilometer. The third one is incorrect actually. The third one is incorrect. See, UP is not the one with highest population density. It is actually again Bihar. Bihar is the state with the highest population density, which is 1106 people per square kilometer. Just look at the stark difference from the national and the population density of Bihar particularly, right? So that's why we need population control policies. And please, this 1106 has been taken from official PIB, right? On some websites, you will find the number to be 1102 for some reason. But you should know that always go back to the official site when in doubt. ठीक है, तो यूपी की नहीं है, बिहार की सबसे ज्यादा डेंसिटी है, फॉलोड बाय वेस्ट बंगाल. इवन वेस्ट बंगाल हैज अ वेरी हाई डेंसिटी, पॉपुलेशन डेंसिटी. सो थर्ड गलत हो गया, फर्स्ट गलत हो गया, एंड हियर ओनली वन स्टेटमेंट इज करेक्ट, दैट इज अरुणाचल हैज द लीस्ट डेंसिटी, बिहार हैज द हाईएस्ट डेंसिटी. नेक्स्ट वन, लास्ट क्वेश्चन फॉर द डे. Consider the following statements. Human Development Report is released annually by World Bank and World Economic Forum. There are three indicators of HDI, which is national income, life expectancy, and education. And India's rank on HDI has slipped in 2022 compared to 2020. So, how many of the given statements is or are correct? Human Development Report, initially the concept given by Dr. Mahbubul Haq and Mr. Amartya Sen, and it is not released by World Bank and World Economic Forum. It is released by United Nation Development Program and it is released annually. ठीक है, ये बहुत ही कॉमन रिपोर्ट है, एनसीईआरटी में डिटेल में कवर किया हुआ है इसको, सो यू शुड बी नोइंग अबाउट दिस. सो एचडीआई, ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट रिपोर्ट, ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट इंडेक्स, बोथ आर द सेम थिंग ओनली. ठीक है, when you're talking about report you see the ranking, when you're talking about index you see the number. ठीक है, so first is incorrect. And three indicators of national income, life expectancy, education, absolutely correct. Basically it is clubbed as health, education and standard of living. So health में आपका life expectancy, education में आपका mean years of schooling etc आ जाता है, and ये standard of living में you get this national income. So second is correct. And India's rank has been falling in HDI. It has slipped in 2022 as compared to 2020. And I want you to tell me in the comments, what is our rank in 2023? 2023, because that is the most latest report. That is the report that will be relevant before your examination. What is our rank in the 2023 report? Please let me know in the comments. So here, two statements would be correct. First one is incorrect because Human Development Report or Index is brought out by UNDP, United Nation Development Program. All right, so with this, we are at the end of the chapter Population, which is the first chapter of your Human Geography, India and the world. So we talked about the concepts of population as well as India's population trends. So I would suggest that class 12th आपकी जो NCERT है उसको please complete कर लो, ये वाला जो chapter है, and you'll be good to go for further. I'll see you all in the next class. And in the next class we are going to talk about human settlements. ठीक है, किस तरीके से human settlements are divided, what are the bases, etc. So if you are enjoying this series, if you are benefiting out of it, if concepts are being cleared, do let me know in the comments, because that is the only way that I can interact with you. So yes, I will see you all in the next lecture. Thank you so much. Bye bye.